Hey guys, it's Diane. I thought I'd jump on a few minutes early. I got you up here on my thing. I think it's working out on the right side better. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna keep it permanently like this. But okay, I came up with a rough schedule so that I can do my monthly paintings. I got most of them done. I have a few more ideas, but I gotta start working on Christmas. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paintings for September and October. That's a lot. And then, I got like that couple other ones that I did, so that's a lot. I wanted to do something besides pumpkins. I mean, I got the ghost done, I got a witch, and I got this pretty other pumpkin, but, Anyways, so I'm thinking that I might make a schedule up for the rest of the year. I have that right here in front of me. I mean, for you guys, because it gets a little confusing. So the plan is every other Thursday, I will do a live. The last week of the month is still Creative Week. That's easy to remember. The week in between, I'm just going to do, like I used to, tips or tricks or whatever we're working on that month. And I got a bunch of stuff I haven't finished. Like we did some a thing on color blocks and palette knives. I did a thing on mediums, but I want to do things like on the supplies, tips on drawing. We did some of that, and I want to do some tips on paint techniques and color mixing again, and framing and mediums. So those are going to be the in-between weeks. I got this. I'm going to make another one. See all my stuff. I write it out. So that's, and I got a month ahead of myself. So for some reason, I got Matisse is going to be September. It's going to have to be. And Gustav Klimt is going to be October. And then we're going to do a recap of the year, all the ones we did in December. But November, there's nobody down. So that's going to be a mystery guest, a mystery artist. I don't know who yet. I can pick one out. And then the first Thursday of the month will be a new painting. I'm going to put a new painting in every month. That's what people want. That's what I'm going to do. And the second week will be tips, tricks, things we've got to learn. I might even put, I still got a lot of stuff over there in the guide section. And all the new paintings are going to be in guide 25. And so I'm going to move them around again. I'm taking a few things out. I went through a lot of them and haven't quite made up my mind, but some of the stuff, there's a lot, too much. So, and then the last third week, we're going to do either the artist of the month, painting of his, or we're going to do a bonus painting that I'm going to put in there. Like I did. We just did that one pumpkin painting. So like the first week of the month, we're going to do the other pumpkin painting I got. And there's another one. So I can do that the third week, or I can start doing the Halloween paintings. So the third week will still be a painting, but I'm going to squeeze in an artist there too. So it might be a little longer class. And sorry, I got a painted sore throat. I'm good now though. And then get my tips and tricks in. Now that might not be a video. I'm not fond of doing videos, but it might be a live. So I'll just jump on sometime in that week. Could be any day. And just do the tips and tricks, whatever I want. I might just talk about it. I might just tell you I'm coming on. You can visit me. But it has to be kind of simple, because that's going to go into the guides. And so when I get more tips and tricks in there, I'm going to put them all kind of together. And then all the paintings. So that kind of narrows it down a little bit pretty good. So you get 2 paintings a month, be it the artist or another bonus one for me. The painting of the month is the first of the month. That's the first week, that Thursday. By the Thursday, the second Thursday, you'll have some kind of new tip or trick or something that we've done. New people can learn. And then the third week will be another painting. And then the fourth week you get off. So that's pretty simple. So I'm going to make those dates up onto like a calendar So I think it'll be easier than trying to do all that other stuff. So I'll kind of do it like how I do this one. And I'll make it up for like the fourth quarter. Then I can put it up in the feature section at the top. I don't know if you scroll over on your phone. And you can just go up there and just find it for, it'll be for September, October, November, December. And you don't have to worry about having that calendar. And I don't have to worry, because that's a pain in the butt to make too. It's all a pain in the butt, really. So anyway, so we're going to start the class today and put this up. So I'm just trying to narrow down what I'm doing to make my life easier and yours. So instead of like being obligated to be here every Thursday, which I'm sure most of you don't mind, but this gives you time to watch some of the rewatches and stuff. And I don't, and I can go through in my page on the back of my group, and I can see who's watching. I mean, I can tell how many times I know, isn't it weird, right? Yeah, they're watching us, people. They're watching us. So, anyways, sometimes it gets used a little bit of something. Much Christian, not really people that are painting on here too much. I don't know, If you can scroll through that stuff, and if you don't hit the done button on that, I don't know if you've been there, but I could tell who's been in, so if they hit the done button. All right, so next week, or the first week of September is going to be Henry Matisse. I don't know if you guys read anything. He's very similar. He's in the same genre with Pablo Picasso. He does like a lot of nudity and stuff too, but he does a lot of kind of modern, very bright and colorful stuff. And there's one in St. Petersburg. There's a couple paintings that he did. I like still life, pots and bowls. You can see I do pots and bowls and urns and vases, and he does a lot of that really bright. So that's something to check out. So I'm looking at, maybe we'll do one of his, like just a little part of one painting. And that'll be September. And Klimt, I put that cat on there. He was like an old cat lady, but he was a guy. He had a lot of cats. He had a very sad life too. And but he's famous for some of the women he did. They're almost like Egyptian looking, and he used like gold leaf on them and stuff, which is a whole subject I got to get into and find out exactly what he did use. And then in December, we're going to talk about all the artists that we did, and maybe talk about what our favorite ones were and recap what we did. Put the pictures up on the, put them all together in a collage or something. So anyway, so that's going to be the rest of the year. And then we're going to talk about if we want to do famous artists every month. And we don't have to do a painting, but I think that we should at least, I should do a little bio on him, maybe through a few paintings like I've been doing. And that'll be like a bonus. So I've been doing that. And that way you can learn about their art and the things that they did. And it really helps you when you're learning to paint to know and look at and watch other artists, especially if they've been famous and, they're part of our culture, like Kincaid and all them guys. So, and I want to get into maybe a few newer artists like we did with Mona Aldesco, which is one of my favorites. She's a newer artist, and Gaffrey, they're our generation. And there's a lot of other ones out there, guys. There's tons of them. So we could get into maybe a different artist every month still. I think it's a good idea. Let me know how you feel about that. So anyway, so that's pretty much the lineup, what I'm going to do with the schedule. So it's changed, I know it, but it's got to change because I need to find something that works, And you're still learning to paint, and now the stuff, you guys got so much education, the stuff might even start to feel a little easy, So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to do my painting. I never gave it a name. I'm calling it the Pale Life Moon. So I'm going to put this up here on my other one so that you can watch me do it. And we're going to talk about, now I originally I have this paste here I'm going to use because I have it. But originally I used, whoa, get over here, girl. Originally I used Liquitex Gesso or Gesso. That's what they call it. So that's what you can use, any kind of gesso. I have a cheaper one here I bought, which I've been using a lot on Amazon, but I'll tell you something, the Liquitex Gesso is a little bit thicker. But they dry pretty chunky and thick. That's what you want. Now what I did was, all I did on this painting was I put a paper plate, a smallish, not the little, not the great big one, and I kind of penciled off where I want. Now I was going to do this, let it dry, but I want you to see what I'm doing in that way. And then we'll start painting this as it's drying. we'll come back next week and we'll finish this. This is a pretty simple painting. Now I got this on, this isn't the great big one, the 16 by 20. This is the next size down. I use this a lot. You'll see that when I'm painting, when I do classes, I tend to use the 12 by 12s, the 16 by 20s, and these are, I never remember, 12 by 16s. These are like the next size down from the great big ones. Personally, I think this is a great size for your house. Unless you got something you want to hide your couch, this is a good size. You can fit in any room in the house. You can paint either way. So I've been using them a lot. And it's great for my table too. It really kind of fits everything over here. So now I just take my paper plate and I had it here first. I felt like there's a lot of moon. It's like half moon. So then I changed my mind and made it a little bit bigger. And that's all I did. And then, now if you want a template, I'm going to make a template for this after class. Because I think this is something that I'm going to put in our guide section and keep it just for this group. Now I showed a couple people this painting. I'm like, don't copy this painting. It's only for my members. So you'll see though sometimes when I'm trying to advertise this group, I need to advertise what I'm doing in it, and I'm not always really showing everything that we've done. So I'm going to advertise some of this stuff, but sometimes people copy it and they're not supposed to, because I don't have anything licensed on it. So I'm going to have to, at some point, I'm going to have to put one of those. I don't always do it, but Canva has a little licensing thing, and I can go, I got trying to fix this thing, and oh crap, and I can go in, and I'm not used to using this, and put a little thing on every painting so they can't copy it, just so you know that. But I got a teaser out there to let them see the only place they can get it, they gotta get in the group. But this is a painting I did before I started any of this, so this has been around for a while, and it sold. So, and I think I have another version of it somewhere. I don't know, because I didn't get my stuff back yet. That's another whole subject. All right, so that's what we do. We got this little corner right here. And then I went and I made, I just put a circle in wherever I wanted to put the rows, just like, you know, I'm setting up my front room. You know how I tell you about composition? And I just made a little circle, and I figured out where they were going to be, probably paint over them. All right, so that's the plan for the rest of the year. And you guys can let me know how you feel about still keeping, you know, I want to keep some of the like quality and of this, not just doing painting so people can do the simple stuff. I want a few little more advanced techniques and stuff in here so that people can pick up and know about art, you know, more stuff about it than they would. Like some of these groups are only doing the paintings, putting in some painting tips, and some of them are doing the people that are doing parties. So I do a lot of tips and tricks for parties, but I'm more about the painting. I want them to learn how to paint and pick up some of the stuff that I know, and I want them to, you know, get into the history of art, and I think it's all important. At least for me it was, so I'm thinking it, you know, I feel the same way. They should be able to do that, and I'm hoping I can get that across. That's why I kind of want to keep the art history involved in this. So anyways, I did that. I made a pencil mark. I made these little balls for for the roses, and I put those in those little sunflowers or butterflies. All right, so now what I did was I'm going to use this texture paste. Now this is a little bit thicker than gesso, but not a lot. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put it behind the line. I had to get my little jacket out because I make a mess. Okay, it just has a slightly, it stands up a little bit. Not as thick as the Gaffrey, but this is a great little thing to start. Now this is the Deco Art. This you can order online. Amazon has, see, I'm just putting it on. Amazon has, it takes a little bit to dry, so you can maneuver this around. Unlike paint, it might dry too fast, but you can get this on there. And I'm just kind of putting it on and making sure some sections are slightly raised. I got a regular palette knife with a round tip, and I'm just putting it on. Almost like you're doing cake batter or something. Now remember, we're going to paint over this, so all those little dips and things are going to have to be filled in with paint. And I put a little color, I put a little yellow, a little white. So it's going to look different even if you just use one shade, because you know, you got this all lifted in certain areas. And get it as close to the edge as you can. You can keep it smoother at the edges if you want, just so it is easier to deal with. You just go like this. And then just, and when you go to put the paint on, you can round that out anyways. So I just take it right out of the jar, this stuff. You don't have to put it in anything, it doesn't make any difference. And I just kind of maneuvered around. You can do it as thick or as thin as you want. Of course, the thicker it is, the longer it's going to take to dry. This dried pretty good. I'd say the first batch, it was 2 days. And the second batch, it was only about a day. And I don't know what I did differently from that. I still haven't figured it out. But it was, the only thing I can think of is it must have been just, one was a canvas board and one was a stretch canvas. And one on the stretch canvas dried faster than the one with the canvas board. You know, it's just a plain, not stretched. So just FYI, that's the only thing I can think of. Maybe because the air gets underneath this. Just a thought. There's an artist question for you. So I'm just kind of, you know, swinging this around, just like how they talk about the cheese in the moon, you know. That's all I'm doing is just put it on. You can make bigger ones, you can make littler swirls. Kind of keep it smooth around the edge here. Kind of like put frosting on. It really does give it, it almost feels like it's the moon. It's the way I put the paint on too, but it really does feel, because of this little bit of texture, like it's the moon. Now there's people, I think Judy, you liked it one time, Judy. There's people who do nothing but sculpt with this stuff. They don't paint over it. They do angels on ceilings. They do, well, you can see remember they used to do the sculptures. It's like a compound, joint compound on the ceilings and stuff. So there's people who do like entire paintings with just this stuff, all raised, and they add stuff. They make it thick. I told you they add all kinds of stuff, all kinds of resins and stuff. And I've heard cornstarch. I don't know. I've never tried it. I've heard baking soda. Baking soda I think would like come apart, but I don't think cornstarch would just get really hard. I'm pretty sure they use cornstarch. So you could look that up. Let me know. But yeah. So there's all kinds of mediums where you can make this thicker. So, and they do like these raised looks, and it's really pretty, kind of Renaissance looking or something. It's most of the time they leave it white, the ones I've seen, but I've seen people who like the raised look, so they do it, you know. I do. I like the look of texture and stuff, so it's just another way to make a painting more interesting, so people ask about it, and you know, you'll probably sell. This one sold, so I think I only got like $100 or something, but that's not bad. I ain't gonna get anything because I was happy I got it. You know, my paintings, I start out around $30-$35 if they're small, $20-$25, and the most I've ever sold one was over like $360. But I haven't sold any really big ones because I don't do that many, because they're a lot of work. And they're going to be inherited because, man, they're a lot of work. I did have two recently when I was at the marketplace last year. I've been busy since then, you know, I've had a lot of stuff happen. But I sold 2 up there, and she never told me who bought them. One's in a lawyer's office somewhere in the city, and they were big ones. But I think one was like $250 and the other one was like $185. And the only reason I didn't charge that much is because I told you, I went to the secondhand store, and I found old canvases that were like, you know, they were like store canvases. But everything in the back was in really good shape, but wherever they put them, because they're lithographed, they're canvas, but they're not raised or anything. They were not painted on, and they were kind of loose, and the colors are all faded. You couldn't barely tell it was on there. But the frame was in fantastic shape. It was all wood. It had metal brackets in the back, and I mean, the only thing I had to do was restring the thing so you could hang it. And I gessoed up, and you know, it tightened up the weave. And I let it dry, and then I palette knifed over it. So they were nice size, so you could do some heavy palette knife on it, and it'll hang up, you know. So those ones I did, you guys have probably seen the videos. One of the first videos I made, actually. So those 2 sold. But I wanted to really know where they went. I never did find out. So, like I said, I don't know. But I'm glad somebody, you know, liked it and bought it. All right, so I'm just kind of making sure I got it inside here. Following that line a little bit. See, so it's not too thick. It's not too thin. Just squishing my eyes, kind of making pretend this is the moon. All right, so now you just squish it off. You close this back up. You do need to close these up because they will dry out. So won't your gesso or gesso. I always say it wrong. I think it's, some people say gesso, some people say gesso. Tomato, tomato. All right, so now you could try, I'm gonna dry this a little bit with the blow dryer, but let me tell you, really, it doesn't work too good with the blow dryer, but I'm gonna see if we can just get these edges to set before I start doing some painting. You can also, I don't know, I haven't tried this one, but sometimes when I want a thicker look and my gel medium, you know, it thickens paint up, but if it isn't doing it for me and I want it really thick, you could do that and also add some gesso. But the gesso, or gesso, will lighten up. But the other trick is you can buy tinted gesso, which I've never done. What I do is I tint my gesso with black paint. And I usually use the thicker paint. I don't use this stuff. And I mix it together and get a nice thick gesso. And that way, I can use it on darker colors. Because like if you use the white, most of them are white. And you mix that in with like a dark blue, it's going to end up being light blue. And if that's not what you want, I suggest you tint it. Now, if you think you're going to want a medium color blue, then I would tint it a medium gray. If you think you're going to want to do a dark blue or a dark green, and you could tint the gesso that color. Now this, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure it would work the same way. So just to let you know that there is tinted gessos and they're expensive. So, but you know, artists we get around that stuff. Me, I don't worry about it too much, but if you're worried about something being archival and being here 300 years, that's something you should worry about. So if you ever get anything you think that you really want to make sure that it's going to be worth something someday, then you should probably go to like the company Deco Art or more than likely like Arteza or, you know, one of the big brands, Golden, or I'm a big Winsor Newton fan, you know. So that's what I started out with. I'm going to have to replace all those paints now. I'm pretty sure they threw them out. I have no way of checking because it isn't a regular place. Not drying much, guys. I'm going to try drying a little bit. So, anyways, today I went and put a bit in a house. I lowballed it because it needed a lot of work, but it's a cute little house. It looks like a little tiny barn. And 2 people bid on it. So, I didn't get it. I tried. So, the next thing is just keep looking. I don't know, guys. I don't know. This is a private group, so I can tell you this. I don't think I'm too crazy about my realtor. I don't think she's like a go-getter, if you know what I mean. And I think in that business, you gotta be a go-getter. All right, so I gotta get some blue out, and this is just a Deco Arts True Blue. You could probably use not the ultramarine. You want to use the other blue. I can't. The lips aren't working. But anyways, I'm using this blue. It's just a regular blue and white, and I'm going to start working around this moon. And then I'm going to fill this whole area blue and white. Sprinkle on some stars. I'm going to use a dark, little black with this blue. Or you can use a very dark blue like a navy. A navy here. Let's set it out. Like a nice dark navy with it. And then, wait a minute. That might just be, oh my God, I can't think. My paint bucket's all the way My paint tubes are all the way over the other side. We've been cleaning in here again. Don't ever clean, guys. Artists never have a clean studio. So we're gonna make this darker right here. And then I'm gonna, on this part right here, I'm gonna just kind of squish in a bunch of green, let it dry, and try to leave out a few of those circles and let that dry a little bit too. And then we can, you need a base to put those flowers on, and I don't think the blue is gonna work, but I'm gonna do most of this side in the light and then the dark blue and then dark green. All right, so now you need a nice flat brush, 1-inch flat brush. Get it wet and paper towels. Yeah. You see, it's just starting to. So we'll. Oops, I missed a spot. So we'll finish this next week. Make sure to get it all. Anything you miss, anyways, doesn't matter, because the paint will get it. All right. So I lost my brush. Oh my God, I lose my mind, right? So I'm kind of upset about that. What are you gonna do? So I'm gonna just start working around this, and I'm gonna kind of just get close. The brush is dry, and then I'm gonna start working with the white. I was really into moons there for a couple of years. I did a lot of them, and they sold pretty good. People like landscapes, and they love moons, and I love moons too. And when I do landscapes, I mostly like doing like gardening stuff, and I don't think that sells as good as like people want like mountains, and I do some waterscapes, so that's good. So then I'm going to start adding white on this edge. And that's where you get that nice light look, and I can bring it right up to. Don't worry about hitting the gesso anyways. It ain't going to hurt it. Because once it's dry, we're going to paint over it. Which will be a quick little job next week. Wait, what's going on next week? No, next week's. No, wait a minute. We just had a creative week. Yeah, so we're not going to do the Zoom next week either. Just forget it, because that's just stupid. I'm not doing it. Because we didn't really do that much with the Gaffery. We're going to do, that's going to be the first week of, well, it'll be the start of the first week of September. So we'll just do, we're going to do the painting of the month then. And I don't know if anybody's going to sign up by then, but I'm just going to keep doing what we're doing. And hopefully eventually people will like, oh, she's doing that. Some of the ones that have been following me, you know, and keeping, I know this sounds terrible, but keeping the paintings in the group instead of spreading the love all over might get me some people, because if they think they can get everything for free, they're going to do it. So there's nothing I can do about that, you know what I mean? That wasn't dark enough blue. I need a darker blue. And I can use a little black too, yeah, there you go. And a touch of black, which I don't know if I used or not in this painting, because I never did write down what I used. So, but you know, I'm guessing there's a little bit of black over in this corner. Or you could use that night sky on this if you want to. Now, a lot of these paintings we're going to be using Deco Art, because that's what most people, it's available. But on our better paintings, we will still be using our Liquitex and our Tezza, whatever I'm using, but mostly Liquitex. Just to make you aware of that we're not going to be doing all Deco Art, but these paintings that take an hour and a half, these fun paintings, will be Deco Art. Right, so I'm darkening this as I go, and there's like a few streaks of, I kept moving it in until I felt like I had like a glow coming off this. I just kept working that white in. So that, and you know, in a circular motion. I got this brush up the group that I'm in, Heidi Easley's group, and I thought they were nice. Well, the baby one Is, you know, you need like a big one, a medium size, you know, round, and then a baby one. The baby one broke. The medium sized one is coming apart, and this is so soft I can barely use it. So these are not quality brushes for what I paid. Yeah, I'm gonna order some more brushes. I just ordered, you know, the watercolor brushes, so I'm looking for some. I want some just to do classes in, and the rest I can, you know. The rest are for my. I try not to use them. The ones for my in-person classes, which I really got to start messing with that. So I got a lot of these paintings I got done. I'm going to use those. I'm going to take them down to the warehouse and put them on the table. And I think I might have one sold. I need it for the classes. So, yeah. So I'll see if she still wants it when I go down there. Yeah, that's the way it is, people. It's either you can't do anything or everybody wants a piece, you know. So I can't complain because I think it's going to start picking back up here. And I've been pursuing it a little bit more. I really wasn't because I just got too much in my life going on right now, people. I just got too much going on. And then I get confused and I get tired and I start jumping on the wrong pages. So you can see what I'm doing. It's dark and I'm getting lighter as I go over. And you know, like I added a little bit of glow here and there off into the stars a little bit. Just dry your brush off, and while it's still a little damp, just pick up some white and kind of go in there and mush it in. You gotta do it when it's, I think it looks better if you do it when it's a little damp. Get that nice glow. So I'm working with like a white, the True Blue from Deco Art, and the no, this one, and the Deco Art's Primary Blue. So there's a nice glow coming off of this. Just blend it all in. There you go. And now you can kind of add more white if you want to after it's dry. All right, so I'm gonna rinse this out, but it's gonna use kind of a dirty brush. And I want to put in a fairly dark green. So I'm going to use this, this isn't Deco Art, but this is pretty dark Kelly green. And I'm going to mix in, what's the opposite of green, guys? What's my complementary color? Red. And that's going to darken the screen up a lot, which you know. So I'm going to put the green down. And then add a little bit of the complementary, and that'll drag that green way down to a dark. This is deep burgundy. Any kind of red will do. I'm going to use a little bit of this burgundy anyways for my flowers. So, and that will cancel that out, but it'll also darken that green right up. Nice and dark. Maybe a little blue too. So it's kind of dark. I just want this corner dark. And there's going to be some flowers over here. So there's like, where'd I put? Oh, I covered them up. That's right. So there'll be one here, like one there. I'll go around them a little bit. This is a very neutral color. You're not even going to see this when I get done. Around this color. So anybody that doesn't know what I'm doing here, I did a little training on the color wheel. There's a couple trainings in there, and some of the classes too, you'll see I talk about got enough in there about how you use your paint to mix with it. Mostly that's with the better paints, but it all applies to all your paints. But color mixing, it even applies to gouache and watercolor. Color mixing is pretty much the same. Now the only difference is what color base blue you have, what color base red you have. That all makes a difference when you're mixing. So be aware that if you're not using the same product, you might have a problem. So I advise you to get one of these in my classes and learn about it. I did a couple things on this. So you'll see there's a bunch, and the color blocking too is something you should know. And even though we're using it with the other fancy stuff, you can apply it to this too. You can make color blocks with this too. All right. We'll get more into that as the time goes by. because this is different than the others. The other stuff's more like pure color, where this is like, well, I can't say that because now I tell people if you can't make a color, you can go buy it. Now, Deco Art has like 75 shades of blue. Well, it's getting to the point where even the better brands are doing the same thing because it's what people want, you know? And it's, you know, whatever the market demands is what they're going to do. All right, so now we're going to start making some roses. Put this away. You're going to need a round brush. Nothing big, nothing small, about medium size. About like that. Can you see that? I can't see like that. Now, who's on here? Can you guys see me? Who's on here? Am I on here? Am I on here? Let me see. Oh, yeah, there I am. So, about this size. You see that? Yeah. All right, so I have a delay. I know, can you see the delay? If you're looking over, you can see I get a delay. All right. So, the roses, you can use any color you want. There's definitely a dark red. And to me, it looks like I just mixed some white and I made like a pink and then a white. So, you know, make your life easier. You don't need to use anything real fancy. Now, I do think pinker is better. So maybe I'll get yourself a nice pink. Yeah, I get this fuchsia pop. Ooh, that'll look good with it. Maybe say a little too pink? Nah, no such thing, guys. And it's burgundy or any kind of a deep red will work too. I'm gonna put these right on my palette. I think these two look good together. Maybe not. Let me see. Yeah, that'd be good. All right. So I'm kind of disgusted about that. I don't know where you guys are. I know, like, Kathy's in Maine, and Judy's down in Louisiana. Let me tell you something. It's cold up here, guys. Judy, it's getting cold up here now, so I don't know when it's gonna warm up, but not till next year now. We might get a few more warm weeks. We're to us 72 is warm. All right, and then a little white. So I got that burgundy, the fuchsia pop, or any kind of bright, like maybe even the Tutti Frutti from Deco Art would be good if you know your Deco Art colors. Hope I get some white on there. So I'm gonna start making my roses. And then it'll really pop, and then I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna make my little petals. So I got red. I'm gonna mix in with my pink a little bit. So I get a really pretty red, reddish pink. So I get like a bright pink and a bright red. And I'm just gonna start making my roses, which I usually just start out in a circle, and I start making C's, just like that. Can you see that? I'm just making C's. I don't want them too connected because I want some light parts in the middle. So I'm mixing those two pinks. Now you can do these any color you want. Like I said, I don't remember what I did the first time, but I like it when all my paintings don't come out exactly alike. I mean, I know there's professionals out there who can do that and people copy other people's work, but I don't do that. So I am gonna make a little tracer for this, and I'm gonna put the list of colors, because I'm gonna write them down after I get done here, and I will put it in Guide 25. I'm going to change it up to the top somewhere with the little path we got in there, so that we have all this for the newbies. I have such confidence in that. I'm hoping. All right. I just got to change it up for what they like. All right. So I'm just adding these as I see fit here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 here. So put in whatever you want, wherever you want them. I'm going to do close as I can get. I'm leaving out a few white spots in the middle. There's some big ones. There's some little ones. Now the little ones I might come back. I'm going to eat the big ones now first. The little ones I might come back and kind of add them after I get the foliage in. Sometimes I don't know where I want them. So I just go in a circle, guys. And I don't really connect these until more at the end. Every now and then I take a swipe of the light pink just to give it 2 different tones. Yeah, I know I'm doing this fast. I know it. But you have a little template if you need it, and you'll be able to do this a little slower than me. Or you can even just make twirls. You guys ever seen where I do that? Just make the twirls, and then do a dark, and then a light, and then a lighter. I call it making cinnamon rolls. All right, so I'm gonna wipe this off a little bit. And then I'm gonna go back in with some white and pink. So I get kind of a middle tone. The lighter pink and the white. And I'm gonna start making those little squirrels we were talking about, kind of circular. When you do the different tones, it starts to, leave some of the darker color around it. And that really shows off kind of a rose. See, I'm making C's and I'm just kind of randomly picking out spots. It takes a little practice. But like I said, I'm going to just do circles on the template or the tracer, and you can just do twirls. Do a darker one, let it dry a little bit, do a medium size, and then a light. Some of these little conversations we're having in here right now, guys, I probably erase them. I want the newbies to learn all this stuff, you guys, but yeah, it's okay. But we've been doing this a long time, so see how like just doing this makes a big difference? Having that extra light color. Now I'm going to darken that center up too. So I'm going to do a template on this. Alright, so now I want to do some kind of yellow in the middle before I finish up with white. You always do white last. So I'm going to just grab whatever yellow. This is called real yellow. It's just a yellow. Just a tad. I'm going to need this for the butterflies too. And I'm just going to wipe my brush off. It's a dirty brush. And then I'm going to go through and just make a little fill in the bottom and kind of drag some of that color in from the sides. It's going to get covered up one more time with some white, and it's going to blend in some of this, so you're not going to see the center so much. That had no center, so I made one. Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to go with my white. And I'm going to choot, same thing. I'm going to kind of, on a wet surface here, I'm kind of just adding. Now you could go through and dry every section, so whatever works for you. And if you're going to be, if I got somebody who's going to be teaching this, you might want to talk to them about maybe drying it in between. I know most of you got to carry a blow dryer with you. I don't. I just have them fan it. So, anybody that does that, yeah. So now we got some roses. Now I'm going to add some little roses, but I'm going to start putting some foliage in first, because then I can decide where I want my new ones. All right. So I'm just going to pick up that green that we had, this Kelly green. And some yellow. I did some dark green and the yellow, so I'm going to do just a straight green first. And I'm just going to lay it down and start doing some petals. Leave some room for a few small rosebuds. I think I need one more rose. I think I need one more rose here too. Basically, your people are going to do wherever they want to. That's what they're going to do. So don't freak out. It doesn't got to be the same. I think I might do a rose here too, baby. We'll see. I'm going to do a dark, and then I'm going to come back with a yellow and green foliage. This just gives it interest and depth to the painting. It keeps it pretty simple and funner. This is a Diana original. We're going to come back tomorrow or next week. That will be dry. If you want to do that first and then wait, you can do that too. So now I'm going to come back with the yellow and green and make a lighter shade. You could do green and white too if you want to. If you haven't got the yellow, you can do any or you know, whatever. Doesn't have to be exactly what I'm using. But I encourage it not to be, just to you know, use your creative juices. You got the gist of the painting, so that's the most important thing. You can kind of copy at your will, however you want to do it. And I'm going to put a few roses over some of this, so you might see me going over some of the green. I'm just trying to make it look kind of, this, I think I need another rose here, maybe one here, because I got it way up high in this painting. It like comes all the way up here. See how high it is? So I'm going to finish these up, and I'm going to adjust these roses. I was going to redo the painting. I said I'm not doing that. I'll just do it like this, because I'm going to you know, make a new template, so I'm going to have to finish this one. That's what this will be for. All right, so now I'm going to take the red and pink again, and I think I need one like right here. Some of the green got in there. That's okay. Roses actually have some green in them. And I need one right here. That kind of, I want this sloping feeling. And I think my dog's over here. Let's see what. I think he wants to go out. And I need like a couple little ones in here. I want this to kind of slope, so we might need this a little bigger right here. See, I think this painting was bigger. So sometimes that makes a difference when you go to redo it and you do it smaller. So just be aware of that. So now I'm going to take that pink and some white. That's the middle tone. And I'm going to do those C's again, keeping them separated. Sometimes I do a couple straight ones. Sometimes I'll like flick one out like that. You know, they'll have like a leaf that comes out. You can kind of play with how it goes on. It's a middle tone. Ooh, let me darken this back up a little bit. A little too light. So that kind of brings it, slopes down, sloping down. Maybe I'll put a small one here. Maybe I'll put another one right here too, close to the moon. Yeah, so let me just do a little white on these. Oop, a little yellow in the middle, just a touch of yellow. Choop, choop, choop. A little white. The thing is like, you know, I can't afford a really big, expensive house. And even if I could, I can't take care of it. And I like the idea of being smaller, cottagey kind of thing. But even them, the housing market, I'm feeling, I mean, I'm looking at the rentals too, and I'm feeling sorry for myself. You know, it's just like, it's crazy out there. It's not good. And now I know why people are on the streets. And people are getting evicted, and oh God. And I just feel like a lot of it is so unnecessary, you know? And the people that are jacking the rents up are the people living high and mighty. All right, which is nothing wrong with making money. I have nothing against it. A lot of entrepreneurs in my family. But I think if you can't do anything good with it, why bother, you know? So maybe I'm just a bleeding heart. I don't know. All right, so let me see. I feel like I should have something right in here. Let's do a small little rosebud right here. Like I said, you don't have to. If you copy this template and maybe you get carried away with something in here, and you want to add more or less after you do the template, you start painting it. that's okay. And encourage, you know, if you got somebody else doing it with you, do the same thing. So don't freak out if it's not exactly the same. No, it's not important. Okay. Wait. Not important. All right. So now I'm going to have to add more foliage. So I'm going to rinse this out just a tad. It's going to be a little bit of a dirty brush. And I'm going to add some darks and some lights. I'm going to start out with a few darks. I feel like I should still lighten that up more there. See, this needs to be like, yeah, I got this right up in the top here. Just add, just to give it a little shape, I'm going to kind of even bring some paint right onto like the rose itself. Put a few here. Yeah, some of the roses I got the petals like right up on the rose like they would be. And then I'm going to do the yellow and green. 104, good God, girl. Stick a fork in me, I'm done. I do love it warm though. And I don't know, it was warm off and on, but I've had so much stuff going on. I haven't even been in the pool in like 2 weeks. Big, beautiful pool out there. And then, I don't know, it's just, now I don't feel very motivated. It's, you know, the water will stay warm for a while because it's so big. But, you know, it'll also stay cold for a while once it cools down. So now it's kind of coolish. So, yeah, but we're famous for getting a few hot weeks in October. Didn't used to be like that though, Judy. It never got that warm up here. Now it's getting warm and you know, later in the year. So it's just kind of weird, right? I'm gonna put a little green and white in here too. Make a few green and white ones. Just kind of lighten up a few here. I feel like I still need one little rose right here, so I'm gonna put a little rose right here in the corner here. A little pink and white. See, our buddy is in Jim's with his friend over in he's in Italy again. So funny. It's okay. Got the life, that one. Got a house in the mountains. It's doing pretty good. And he still can be, you know, like not happy. It's so sad, right? Sometimes it doesn't matter how much you have. You're not happy, right? All right, so let me see. Pretty similar. I get this one a little too high there, but that's okay. I can like put just a little more foliage right here, maybe just a tad more to bring that up. Oh yeah, I had it more like that, then this came up more. But I'm not going to do that. That's right at the tip of the moon. You could bring it up a little higher if you want to. I think I'm going to add a little more white to this while it's dry. I think I want a smaller brush. I'm going to get me my... There should be a small flat. Like a 1/2 inch, no, like a 1/4 inch flat. It's this one. And I'm going to mess with that blue and white again. I just feel like it needs to be a little bit lighter right in here. I mixed the darker blue here, the primary blue, with a lot of white. Maybe a little bit more white. I want to lighten this up. It's a little bit more towards the moon. And I need to put some stars in. I'm going to call it a night. And next week we'll put the roses. We'll put the butterflies in. I don't know, I might make a template, but those are my butterflies. Nobody does butterflies like me. I'm not a good butterfly maker. So those, I got some in a book, and they always end up looking about the same. It's just the way that I do them, I guess. They all like got kind of like pointy looking. So I'll show you how I do them. So funny. It's true though. It's good. Yeah, it's just not something I've gotten better at it, but yeah. And I'm gonna put more blue right here. And we're gonna do it. I'm gonna darken this up a little bit right here. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do some stars. I'm gonna finish this up, mess with this a little bit for a few minutes. And then we're gonna do, next week we're gonna do butterflies. We're gonna paint our moon. And we're gonna start working with either much, what did I put down? What did I put down? That's the first week of the month. So we're gonna start our bonus painting. Hopefully I'll have some people signed on. We'll see, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it. A little water. If it dries out on you. I want to dry brush it on, but I don't want to get this rose right here. Just add a little water. And put a lot of this blue right up in here. Keep it dark. The thing with the dark colors with our acrylic is these dry very flat, especially the black. So I try not to use it in our acrylics because I don't really like, I'd rather mix my colors like I did down here. The reason being is when it dries, it's very flat. So you kind of really gotta, if you use like dark Halloween colors, really it looks better if you can put a little, some type of sealer or gel medium, or actually, Deco Art actually makes a sealer. I had got a kit from them. Duraclear satin varnish. So that's maybe something we'll do next week too. All right, so now I got a lot of blue in there. So now we need to make some stars. It's pretty simple. You just put some water in with your white. And if they're a little blue, that's okay. Uh-oh, I think we got kitties coming downstairs. I'm here this week by myself with my cats and my dogs. My dog and my cat. And my sister's taking turns come home and feed my other sister. I have another sister who lives in, there's 2 houses here. And I'm just gonna make some stars. Now there's lots of ways to do this. Some people use a toothbrush. Me, I just get it real wet. And you can go all the way down. And like if you want a few more, just take the end of your brush and just add a few more. That's all. Oh, I think I had some green in there. I had some green in my brush. Oops. There you go. So, there you go. Now next week we're gonna let this dry. I'll put 2 butterflies in, and we'll paint that. So that'll finish. They don't take like very long at all. And then we'll do. This is gonna go into guides. I'm calling it Pale Knife Moon because I just couldn't think of a name today. You guys could think of a name for it. Great. I think I had a name, but I can't remember it. All right. A little green on this. I'll take it off. Some white on there. That's fine. All right. So like I said, I'm going to make up a schedule for the next 4 months. I'm going to put all the dates in for our classes. And I said every other week will be a live painting class. Nice to you, Judy. You love it? It'll be a live painting class. The first week of the month will be my new release. And the second week, I'm going to do some type of educational tips and techniques. I think I'll call it tips and techniques. Maybe I'll call it that. And it'll be the second Thursday, which it'll either be a video or me coming on live. And it'll be by that Thursday. So it's still every Thursday. So be looking for it. And then the third Thursday will be either another bonus painting like I've been making, a new one, or something to do with one of the artists of the month. And that's going to be Matisse. So next month, or next week, first week of September, we're doing that new painting. I already did the one pumpkins. We're going to do the other one. We got two choices here, so it'll be one or the other, but I think it's going to be the one with the two pumpkins. And then the week after, I do tips and techniques. Let me write that down. Tips and techniques. And then the week after that will be another painting. So every other week you get a painting. And then the last week of the month you get off. So it's pretty simple. Tips and techniques. I like that. I think that'll work. TNT. So I'll write that up for the rest of the year. And then we're going to have Gustav Klimt. And then mystery artist. And then the last week we're going to recap all the artists we did for the year. So that's pretty much it for the rest of the year. So now you got a new painting to look at and do. And if one of you guys do it, Judy or Lori or whoever, make sure you post it in the free group and tell them I learned it in this class. Now see how dull it looks when we put on a lot of white and a little bit of gold. I think I used a little yellow ochre on that. Or did I use regular? No, I used a regular yellow, a little ochre and white. That's going to brighten this up. It'll look even more, ooh, still wet. Brighten it up. It's still wet, so you can't paint that yet until it's dry. Like I said, 24 to 48 hours. And I believe the painting that this paste that was on my stretch canvas dried like in a day, whereas the one that was on the board took longer, and it's got to have something to do with air circulation. So when you do that, give it a couple days to dry. Now you can do like what I did. It won't really hurt it. It's just going to make the paint thicker and lighter. And like I said, we're going to go back over this next week with the butterflies and paint that and anything else I see. So that's it for tonight, and you'll be seeing your new schedule coming out next week. And we got all the other stuff. The tip week will be all this other stuff I was talking about earlier. The framing, which I haven't got much here, so I'm going to have to gather up some stuff to show you some things about framing. I don't think I have anything framed here. So it's going to be a little tough, but I can maybe come up with something. But I got a bunch of stuff besides this, so that's going to be the in-between week, just repeating everything again. And so I'm going to see I'm still going to have stuff out there. I'm still going to advertise. And I want to do my mother's house, because I'm going to, I did so good with the little ornaments, so I'm thinking, I have a friend who's doing the paintings that people like, and I don't think she's doing a ton of them, but it's, you know, a little extra money, so I think, I don't know if I'm going to do it in this group. I might do it in Artsy Rose. There's more people in there. I'm not going to do the whole painting, but what I'm going to do is show how I set the painting up and how I come up with some of the ideas. But if they're not palette knife artists, it's not going to look the same. Because the girl that does them, she just does regular painting. Where I do, mine looks antique-y, you know, impressionistic. And when I get done sketching out the house, and I blow it up. Usually I get a small thing on my phone. I usually will send them a copy of the thing I sketched out, and they love it. And, you know, the mock-up, and then the bigger picture to show them how I came to doing it a certain way. If I get lost at one point, if there's a shadow, I don't know what it is. Like, is that a garage? Is that a window? Is that a door? You know, I go back and forth so they get what they want, and I give them two changes, you know. Some people nitpick it because he's supposed to be impressionistic, so I make sure that they're aware of that. You know, if they want realism, go to somebody else. You know. So anyway, so I think I might do that Saturday, maybe set up some kind of class for that. Sometimes I fly by the seat of my pants on this stuff. That was just an idea, just to drum up some business and then give them some education about it too. There's a little more to it than you think. There's a little more to putting a painting together than you think. I've been doing it a long time, and I still probably got a long way, a lot of things to still learn. And I'm always learning new stuff, you know. reconnect. If anybody, I need a haircut. Anybody that's a haircut, I need a haircut. Anybody that rewatches, make sure you put rewatch in so I know. I gotta give my hair. I need a hair color and a cut. I need a haircut. So, anyways, have a great night, Judy. It's good hearing from you again. How you doing? I mean, you feeling a little bit better? They got you on medication? My mom was on her Alzheimer's dementia medication for a long time. She was really good. There's two, and the ones were more advanced. But when she in the first, she was pretty good for a long time. You know, so you'll probably be good for a while. But I'm sure you're gonna have bad days and good days. I mean, none of us getting any younger, right? So it's good to hear from you, though. Yeah, message me once in a while. We'll talk. Message me. Messenger me. All right, guys. So I'm gonna call out for the night, and I'll see you guys Saturday at 1:00. You're better though, but you still have bad days. Yeah. I mean, my mother used to say, you know, Diana, people don't understand. You know, she'd be like in a good mood. These days don't. She said the good days don't come too often anymore, honey. So it's true. You know, not like I have a lot of bad ones, but there are not as many good days as there used to be. And I'm sure, I remember with her, I said, boy, you're in a good mood today, Mash, because, you know, people don't understand. There's just some days, they don't come very often anymore. You know, she wouldn't be in pain or whatever. You know, she's always in pain. So, she had bad legs too, like me, or me like her. Anyways, it's good to hear from you, Judy. All right, so I'm going to cut this off, and I will see everybody on Saturday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday next week. You lose stuff? Hey, I do that. I ain't got. Oh, well, I don't think I got it. I can't tell you the things I lost today because I got in trouble with my daughter. So yeah, and they were right in front of me twice. So yeah, I think when you get older too, you can't really have so much. You got to make your life simpler. There's that kitty cat. You got to make yourself life simpler. And just less stuff and less things to worry about because it just makes you more confused, you know? That's what I think anyways. So I know that's the way it is with me. So, you know, you got to be a little more organized and just have less crap and less to worry about. But lately, that hasn't been the case with me. So, you know. All right, so I'm going to go, Judy. Give me I'll messenger you later. You message me. All right. Oh, I miss you too. I miss our group. We all kind of split up. Well, Lori's, you know, she's grieving for her man. And, you know, just, you know, it isn't like my other group. I'm busy in that group. It's a free group. And I'm promoting it, but it doesn't cost any money. So that's different, you know. But they seem to love it over there. I mean, the group's doing really good. I got a lot of people chiming in I haven't heard from that are in there. So I'm trying to, you know, grow that group to grow this membership. That's why I'm doing it. Because I want them to see what I do. And I think a lot of times when I'm on my main page, they don't see that, you know. But yeah, I miss you too, Judy. You take care. I love you. And give me a message. You know, Messenger is on Messenger you, so we can talk. I miss our group though. All right, so have a good night. I'll talk to you guys later. Make sure you rewatch if anybody rewatches it, so I know. Bye, guys.